Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 47 for tonight for April the 17th. Let's get into it, man. Start with the NBA. Playoffs are all set. We had the play-in games the last couple of days. Um, so everything's all set. We're going to start with um, what took place on Tuesday, where the Magic beat the Hawks 120 to 95. It's a blowout. Cole Anthony had 26 points as the Magic clinched the seventh seed. Cole Anthony had a big time game off the bench, scoring 26 points. So this is a blowout. So congrats to them. They advanced. They'll be the seventh seed. And then the second game on Tuesday was the Warriors beat the Grizzlies 121 to 116. And Jimmy Butler, man, stepped up, played excellent, 12 to 20 from the field, had 38 points as they win 121 to 116. How many points Curry had? Curry had 37 points. So the combination of Butler and Curry combined for 75 points. So big time performance by those two veteran guys. You know, they could be dangerous, man. Yes, they're a little older and all that, but never know. This team could definitely be, a dangerous team. We talk about what this team is capable of doing. All right, so continue on doing what I'm doing. Um, watch out for the Warriors, man. They play Houston. I know they the two seed. The Warriors gonna beat the seven seed, but I just think watch out for the Warriors. That experience, that championship pedigree could be, something to deal with. That was a big time performance from those two guys as they win 121 to 116. So on Wednesday, which was yesterday, the Bulls beat the the Heat beat the Bulls 109 to 90. Chicago, Tyler Hero had 38 points. So that was a matchup between the ninth place versus the 10th place team. They were able to win that game. Then the second game, the Mavericks beat the Kings 120 to 106. Anthony Davis did his thing, 27 points, won 120 to 106. So he will place the Grizzlies tomorrow. Also, Klay Thompson had 16 of his 23 points in the second quarter. So congrats to Dallas. Obviously, got a lot of work to do. They got to beat Memphis tomorrow, but get to see Klay Thompson play very well. Do his thing. See what happens from there. So everything's all set in the NBA as far as that's concerned. So tomorrow you got the Heat versus the Hawks at 7 o'clock p.m. That's the eighth seed game. So keep your eyes on that. And then in the second game, you got the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. That's the eighth seed game. So whoever wins this game gets for the eighth seed spot, they'll play the number one seed. Now look at Saturday's games. You got everything set up for Saturday for the official uh, playoff start. You got the Bucks and the Pacers. Um, Damian Lillard looks like he's gonna be back. He was dealing with blood clot stuff, so he's taking off the blood thinning medication. So he's gonna be back for the playoffs that start at 1 o'clock. It's gonna be the Bucks and the Pacers. And then you got the Clippers and the Nuggets, Pistons and the Knicks, and the Timberwolves and Lakers. So you got some interesting matchups. Very interesting. Look at the Bucks and the Pacers. I think the Bucks are definitely win the series again. Giannis And this other guy has to be healthy. He has to be healthy. But we'll see. That should be like a 7 game series. The Nuggets and the Clippers, I think that's gonna go 7. Um, you never know with the Clippers, man. With Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, I know they're veterans, but they have to do something in this series. The Nuggets, they won the championship a couple of years ago. See how they handle playing without head coach Michael Malone. Knicks and the Pistons. I won't be shocked if the Pistons win. They definitely got momentum going to the playoffs. Timberwolves and Lakers, that's a toss-up series, but I give advantage to the Lakers. So keep your eyes on that. The Magic will play the Celtics on Sunday at 3:30, and the Warriors will play the Rockets on Sunday night. So whoever wins the Grizzlies and Mavericks matchup tomorrow will play the Thunder. I just allow pressure on the Thunder, and then whoever plays, wins this game between the Heat and the Hawks will play Cleveland. So there's a lot of high expectations for the Thunder in Cleveland, the number one seeds. See how they handle the pressure. All right, so that's it for the NBA. Let's get into some Major League Baseball real quick. Try to get everything done by 9 o'clock. Let's look at the stands. I'm not going to go over everything, be long-winded, but look at the stands and just move on to something else. The Yankees are in first place. They won 3 straight. They're 11-7. Detroit is 10-8 in the Central Division. That's surprising. See them in first place. Been a long time since Detroit Tigers been in first place. Since. Texas 11-7. In the National League, the Mets are top of the division of National League East, 11-7. Chicago Cubs are 12-9. And then you look at the West, 15-4. San Diego Padres, they're in first place. All right, we'll set the next on the docket. Talk about that's it for the baseball recap with that. All right, Sanders and Hunter to have their jerseys retired at Colorado. Very interesting story about this because when you look at these two players, yes, they played well with University of Colorado, but I think it's way too soon to retire their jersey. First of all, Shador Sanders should not have his jersey retired. I think that's totally out of line. I think he was like 13-11 in his career with the Colorado Buffaloes. The thing about it that I think I saw somewhere, but guys that have been retired, some of the guys that played before, way before Sanders and Hunter, built the program to being what it was, and their jersey's not retired. Like, as far as like anybody from the national championship team, I don't think their jersey's not retired. Look at Shador Sanders. I think he was 13-11 as a starter for Colorado. Okay, his record was 13-12, 8-10 in the conference record. That was his conference record. Now he threw 64 touchdowns, threw 13 interceptions, broke Cole Detmer's record, single season passing record. Set some records. Yeah, career passing touchdowns, single season. Won the award for the top quarterback in college football. But I don't think that warrants him to get his jersey retired. I think that is way too soon. The time is not good. Plus, when you look at the history of Colorado football, that means not that many quarterbacks have been retired or their jerseys are concerned. Now, Travis Hunter, yes, he won the Heisman, but I think it's way too soon. They're only the fifth and sixth players in Colorado's 135-year history to receive that honor. You look at the teams that came before them, even Chad Brown, who was in the Buffalo's Hall of Fame, who knows what he's talking about. I think he was on that 1990 team. See, some of you as a quick turnaround with their careers just ending. There are also numerous big names in Buffalo's Lord that remain in line, including from the 1990 National Championship squad. Chad Brown, I think I remember him, he was a linebacker. He said in a social media post that if the players from the national championship team have not received such an honor by default, this action dismisses, diminishes, and for a new generation of Colorado University fans erases their greatness. I would never minimize the impact of number 2 or number 12. They are amazing players, but this time it's poor. The decision to retire numbers is based on discretion of the Colorado Athletic Administration, the current head coach. Then Tyler Columbus, the standout offensive line for Bucko, said the vitriol from former players regarding CU retiring number two is loud. I think most, including myself, believe CU deserves the honor eventually. But by passing the line, I'm passing Deion Figures. Deion Figures, I think, won an award for the best defensive back. Deion Figures doesn't make sense. So many all-time greats that deserve the honor have waited their turn. Why so fast? Zero waiting period. Feels like the clear responder of the coach prime era that has upset alumni. Yeah, so you look at the players that have been retired. Byron White, number 24, jersey was retired. Girl, linebacker Joe Mig, number 67, quarterback tailback Bobby Anderson, number 11, and the late tailback Rashawn Salam, number 19. But there's nobody else has been retired. Like no Darian Hagan. No, he won the national championship. How about Eric Bieniemy? Like the Bill McCartney era. You know, he should be retired for his running backs, Michael Westbrook or Cordell Stewart. There's a lot of guys, Deion Figures should have his jersey retired. So I think that's the timing is not good. A lot of people upset, the alumni. They don't like that they're getting the jersey retired. Yeah, Rashawn Salam, Byron White, Joe Vermig, and Bobby Anderson. That's it. Where's Cordell Stewart? Michael Westbrook, Deion Figures. He won a Jim Thorpe Award and a national championship. He wore number two himself. So I think he should be in the conversation to be, have his jersey retired. All American Defensive Player of the Year. That don't make any sense. They're very premature and way too soon to, do something like this. I mean, look at the players that Colorado had during the Bill McCartney era. This team could have won two national championships. They should have won in '89. They didn't. They won in '99. Look at the great players they had. Darian Hagan, Alfred Williams, Deion Figures, Chris Hudson, Eric Bieniemy, Matt Russell, Joe Garden, Chris Nayel, Michael Westbrook, Daniel Graham, Cordell Stewart, Christian Fourier, Brian Stoltenberg, Chad Brown. They don't get their jersey retired. I think it's way too soon. So look, those players the players that came before. You're gonna do that with Hunter and Sanders? No, way too soon. I don't think it's a good look. Should be outraged with that. Darian Hagan, man, he was 28 and 5-2, two-time first team All Big Eight, won national championship. So I think it's a bad idea. Don't make no sense. Have their jersey retired. So their jersey gonna be retired on Saturday during the spring game that Colorado's have. I think it's way too soon. That's my perspective on that. I think they should retire the guys that built the program to what it was, especially during the Bill McCartney era. They should definitely do that. And rest in peace to him. He passed away this year, age 84. Right, so that's it for that. Right. So I was going to talk about, I think, on this day in sports history. Yeah, let's get into that. Then we get into the Marvin Hagler, um, Thomas Hearns fight from 1985. Get into that real quick. Let's get into on this day in sports history for April 17th. April 17th, let's get into minor rules, all events, for some events. Let's start with 1860. Champion of England Tom Sayers and American John Heenan fight a brutal 2 hour and 27-minute draw that ends only after police stop the fight near Farnborough in England, acknowledged as the first world title fight. Interesting. 1892, the first Sunday National League baseball game was between the Reds, who beat the Cardinals 5-1. 1923, the longest National League opening game between the Phillies and the Dodgers, tied at 5-5 and 14 games. 1925, Babe Ruth, the Yankees has no surgery. Chicago Bears win their first NFL game, beating the New York Giants 23-21 on April 21st, April 17th. Joe Louis knocked out Jack Rope in 1939 in a six-title defense in one round at Wrigley Field, Los Angeles, California. 1947, on April 17th, Jackie Robinson bunts for his first major league hit. Mickey Mantle made his debut in Major League Baseball with the Yankees. He goes 1 for 4. April 17, 1953, Mickey Mantle hit a 565, 172-meter home run in Washington, D.C.'s Griffith Stadium. 1960, Rocky Colavito of the Cleveland Indians was traded. He's the reigning home run champion at the time. Detroit Tigers for reigning American League batting champion Harvey Kuehl. Fans are unhappy with that move at the time. 1963, on April 17th, the commissioner of the NFL at the time, Pete Rozelle, suspended Green Bay Packers halfback Paul Hornung and Detroit Lions defensive tackle Alex Karras indefinitely for betting on football games. April 17, 1964, the first game at Shea Stadium was between the New York Mets, where they lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-3. 1976, April 17th, trailing 12-1, Philadelphia Phillies had beat the Chicago Cubs 18-16 in 10 innings at Wrigley Field as Mike Schmidt hits 4 home runs, consecutive home runs, and the Braves come back in National League history. 1987, Julius Erving became the third NBA and ABA player to score 30,000 points. All right, that's it for the day. So for that, so quickly let's get into it's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This past couple of days ago, Hearns and Hagler and Hearns fought each other. Marvin Hagler and Thomas Hitman Hearns fought one of the greatest fights ever on April 15th, 1985. It was known as the War. The fight, but known as the war between these two. And this is when the middleweight championship, division was at its peak. This was before Tyson took over a year later in '86. But you had great fighters, man. Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, Ray Leonard, and Duran. It was just a great time in boxing at the time, April 15th, 1985. So this is for the WBA, WBC, IBF, the ring undisputed middleweight titles. This was fought on April 15th, 1985. This is a great fight. Uh, at the time, Marvin Hagler was 16-2, and Hearns was 40-1. It's a great fight. And the thing about it is what started in round one, just how they came out slugging at each other. It was just a slugfest of the ages. And just the way they were fighting each other. The round that they fought was the greatest round ever. Nominated by, voted by Ring Magazine as the best round ever, the greatest round ever in box history, the best round that year in 1985. That first round that they had. They just went at it, slugfest. Round two, same thing. In the third round, that was it. Hearns lost his fight to Hagler. It went 3 rounds, and that was it. It was just a great fight. Even though it went 3 rounds, it was a classic. 8 minutes of mayhem, according to Boxing News, British Fight publication. And also, the Ring magazine called the fight the most electrifying 8 minutes ever. It was the fight of the year for 1985. This fight only going 3 rounds. So it was just a classic fight. Those 3 rounds was the greatest ever because there was so much drama, action, violence back and forth. The first round, in particular, was the greatest round in boxing history. So I wanted to commemorate. Rest in peace to Marvin Hagler. He passed away 3 years ago. 2021, Hearns is still alive. So it's good to see that. But that was a great fight. That's when boxing was boxing, man. Boxing was at its highest level at that time, especially in that middleweight division. And there was 3 rounds that was the greatest ever 40 years ago, 1985 on April 15th. Right, so my time is up. So I'll be back next week for the NFL draft coverage. Talk about who got drafted. I'll definitely be on the air for the draft. Definitely into the NBA playoffs and stuff like that. It's up and stuff like that. All things sports. Go and check out e5280sports.com. e5280sports.com. I have my latest article up on the website. Check that out. It's up there. I'm gonna check it out. I did a recap on men's and women's Final Four national championship game, NBA playoff preview, and then the 30th anniversary of UCLA's last college national championship game that they won against Arkansas '95. So that's the last time they won that championship. So we went over that. So some historical aspect with that. So that's it for tonight. I'll be done by 9 o'clock, but it's 9:04 when I'm done. Talk to you next week for episode number 48 of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell. Until then, have a good night. Talk to you next week for episode number 48 for Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell.